Hey guys, Stephen Cox here, and today we're going to learn about arpeggios. So what is an arpeggio? Well, basically it's the notes in a chord, but you just play them one at a time. So instead of playing something like this, we'd be playing. So let's talk about the four main types of arpeggios. There are major arpeggios, minor arpeggios, diminished arpeggios, and augmented arpeggios. So today we're only going to cover major and minor arpeggios. We're not going to go into seventh chords and ninth chords and all that stuff and all those arpeggios associated with them. The major arpeggio comes from the major scale. So if you don't know the major scale, there's a nice little video up here, but I'm also going to recap it real quick. So let's take C major. This is 3rd fret on the A string, 5th fret on the A string. Then we've got 2nd fret on the D string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, the 2nd fret on the G string, then 4th fret, and then 5th fret. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and give each one of those like a number. Like the first note of the scale is 1, the second note of the scale is 2, third note's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we can either call this one 8 or 1 because that's just where the scale would start over again. Basically, for a major arpeggio, we're going to play the first note of the major scale, then we're going to skip up to the 3rd note of the major scale, then we're going to skip up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 5th note of the scale, and that's the whole arpeggio, but if we want to, we can put the 8th note of the scale since it's the same as the first note of the scale. So in the case of C major, which is what we're playing right now, that would be a C, an E, a G, and then another C on top. C, E, G, C, if you want to know the note names. So if you look at the finger pattern that I'm using, I'm starting on my middle finger, then I'm going back 1 fret and down 1 string, down toward the floor. Then I'm skipping over 2 frets, staying on the same string, and then after that, I'm literally just going below that note if I want the octave on there. So now let's talk about a minor arpeggio. First, we're going to start with the minor scale. So this is C minor. It's going to be 3rd fret, 5th fret, and 6th fret on the A string. Then 3rd fret, 5th fret, and 6th fret on the D string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and we just end there on the G string. So if you notice, I'm using 1 finger per fret on both of these scale patterns, and basically that comes from this warm-up up here. So check out that warm-up if you get a chance. So now for the minor arpeggio, we're going to do the same thing that we did for the major arpeggio. We're going to give each one of these pieces of the scale a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then either 1 or 8. And then we're going to take the first note of the scale, the 3rd note, and the 5th note of the scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if we want to, we can add the octave above it, which is the note that we end on in the scale. All right, so now that we have a major pattern and we have a minor pattern, and notice that I'm assigning my fingers to a fret. I'm not moving them sideways, and that's how we're getting that visual pattern and that muscle memory pattern. Now we can just move them around depending on what chord we're playing. At the beginning of this video, I played arpeggios that outline certain chords in a chord progression. So the chord progression was C major, then I went up to F major, then I went to D minor, and then I went to G major. For those of you that understand how we number chords, this would be a 1, 4, 2, 5 progression. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it for now. We'll talk about that in a later lesson. So for the C major chord, I was literally just playing the arpeggio twice and leaving out that octave note. So this will just be C, E, G, or 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the D string, and 5th fret on the D string 2 times. Then I just moved up to where I'm starting on an F, which is the 3rd fret of the D string, and this is where we changed over to the F chord. So now we're playing an F major arpeggio. So it's that same pattern that we just did. All the notes are just towards the floor 1 string over. So that would be 3rd fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the G string, and 5th fret on the G string. So now we're going to shift over because the next chord is D minor. So we're going to use a D minor arpeggio. And so we're going to start on the 5th fret on the A string because this is a D note. You can check it with the open D string if you don't believe me. They're the same note. Okay. So we play that note. Then we do the minor arpeggio. And we're just doing the first 3 notes of the arpeggio. So of the minor scale, that's 1st note, 3rd note, 5th note of the minor scale. So then after we do that, we're just going to go to a G major arpeggio, which is going to start on the 5th fret of the D string. So notice that my major arpeggios start on the middle finger because I have to reach back for a note, whereas my minor arpeggios start on my pointer finger because I have to reach forward to use the pinky 3 frets over. Okay, so now that we know these different patterns, let's put it all together. So we're going to play it at kind of a medium tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, we can use this to come up with a bass line over any chord progression. Just whatever chords a piano player or a guitar player or some other chordal instrument tells you is in the song, you know which notes you can use now. If they say, oh, it's A minor, then you just got to do a minor pattern starting on an A note. So guys, it's really important if you're going to play a song with somebody and they give you the chords and that's the only information you have, to basically have your note names memorized from open strings up to the 5th fret on every string. Basically, this will just let you know where to start your patterns. So if someone says a C chord, you go, oh, C is 3rd fret on the A string. And if they say that there's a A minor chord, you can either go, oh, it's an open A, or if you're like, oh, I can't really use that pattern, you can go, oh, well, there's another A that's the 5th fret on the E string. So learn your notes here, and we'll probably do a video on that pretty soon. And then that way you can just use these patterns and not have to think about every individual note that you're playing when you're trying to come up with a bass line. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel for more. Like I said, the tabs are on the Patreon, so just check in the description below so that you can find it. This one's free. There's some other stuff on there that's not, but this one's free. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.